First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. That's the Father and his heavenly Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And of course, I'm getting on here. I'm talking about politics. I understand that we Israelites, we don't like to deal with politics much, but this is the trending topic, and a lot of our people are delusional. So I'm about to expose some stuff today, and let's get it started right now. So what you have is Biden just won the president election. He just won the president election. And what you have is you have a split right now in division between who right and who wrong, left wing, right wing type stuff. I'm about to show y'all that these Democrats have no interest at all. And when I mean by no interest at all, I'm talking about literally no interest at all in helping you black folks. They want to keep you at the bottom of the barrel. That's their whole objective. The Republicans and Trump, at least they put out a few plans to help historical black colleges and the black economy in general and unemployment rate in the black community. You people are delusional, and it's gotten sick to where you can't even see who your real enemies are anymore. So I'm about to expose some stuff right now. This is the people who y'all want to vote for. The Kamala Harris, the vice president as of now, the vice president of the United States as of when they do when they sign them in, in January or so. Let's see what she has to say about helping black people in the black community of reparations. Remember, Biden 2020, this is who y'all voted for.
Here's a passive income online business that you haven't heard of that allows you to be free. I've been able to be out here for the last couple.
Do you support reparations for black people?
Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination, segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country.
You see that? Y'all see that? That's an insult and a spit in the face of the black man and woman. It's a straight, direct insult. Because the first thing people do when people ask, how are you going to help black people? Are black people going to get reparations ever like the other people did? And this is what this woman has to say. She literally said everybody has had a bad stick. Everybody in some form of way has started at the bottom of the barrel. What about your ancestors that slaved for this country for 500 years, built this country up, built the economic structure of this country? Black Wall Street, the first thing, not Black Wall Street, Wall Street in general, the first thing that was on Wall Street for sale was your damn uncle or a slave, a Hebrew slave. So this is a direct spit in the face because every other nation has gotten reparations for what America has done to them, except for you black people or you so-called Negroes or African Americans.
And in particular, black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects.
So what they're trying to do is they're trying to pass laws that directly count towards minority groups. You see the insult in this?
Black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit black children, black families, black homeowners.
What about all the policies that the Democrats put in place over the hundreds of years that actually has hurt the black community more than anything, more than the Republicans? All these policies they didn't put in place has hurt black people. So why stop now?
Because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this. Any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that.
Let's be clear about that. Are you serious? Man, she literally just said any policy that's gonna help minority is gonna help black people. I have yet to see that. Out of all the Democratic parties that's been here, I have yet to see one of these policies benefiting black people. And in fact, it has worse in our areas, our neighborhoods. Everything is worse now. Like, for instance, the unemployment rate, mass incarceration at an all-time high. The black economy in general itself has always been down when Democrats have been in position or in the office. So when you look at the statistics of this, it doesn't make sense to what these people are telling you. They want you to be a slave and continue to be a slave.
Be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No, because whatever benefits that black family will benefit that community and society as a whole in the country. Right?
Like I said, a direct insult. She's not going to do anything that benefit black people by themselves. But yet, you had the so-called Jewish people get benefits for World War II. You had Japanese people get benefits. You had Irish people get benefits. You had all these other nations get benefits when America oppressed them. But no, your country, your ancestors can build this country up, every financial structure in this country, and you reap none of the benefits. You get through in the slums. Now let's go. We just dealt with the vice president. Let's go to Mr. President himself, Biden 2020. Let's see what he got to say about helping black people. This is an interview with Charlemagne and Joe Biden. Because once he was asked a question, the man put on his skates and ran like all Democrats always ever do.
And black people saved your political life in the primaries this year. They have things they want from you. And one of them is a black woman running mate. What do you say to them?
What I say to them is that I'm not acknowledging anybody who is being considered, but I guarantee you there are multiple black women being considered. Multiple.
Well,
Thanks so much. That's really our time. I apologize.
You can't do that to black media.
I can't do that to white media and black media because my wife has to go on at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
I'm in trouble.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to.
Do you hear that? Did y'all hear that? Biden telling everybody in the black community, if you don't vote for him and you vote for Trump, you ain't black. Man, these devils, man. The pride in thy heart has deceived thee. Thou that dwelleth in the cleft of the rocks. And this ain't nothing new to us Israelites. We already understand these devils. We know them up and down. We see through them like a looking glass. But I want to show y'all some stuff right in this article that this man said, if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. Let's see about that. Okay. A lot of this is talking about the interview. I'm gonna go down a little bit and see. I was reading some of this earlier. Okay, let's start right here. Throughout Biden's career, he has boasted about his ability to bridge partisan divides by sacrificing the needs of black people and poor people in the name of compromise. For the last 30 years, Biden has repeatedly talked about freezing, cutting, or raising the age for Social Security and other benefits as much as $2 trillion one time. His response to concerns that these cuts would hurt people, would hurt the poor. We're going to do lots of hard things. We might as well do this. Social Security is an important program for black people, especially as we age. Among African Americans receiving Social Security, 35% of elderly married couples and 58% of unmarried elderly persons relied on it for 90% or more of their income. The reliance is not due to laziness of spending habits. People of color and white people make similar choices and contributions to retirement. But due to racism, lack of workplace retirement plans, and barriers to access high-paying jobs, they know where my heart is, Biden has said of black voters. But do we? Because we don't. We don't actually. A lot of people are brainwashed to them. Senator Kamala Harris was severely scrutinized for her treatment of poor black women as a prosecutor. Facts. Under Kamala Harris, black people were being locked up. It's crazy, man. This is crazy, man. Black people don't know this stuff. She has locked up more niggas than George Bush. Yet Biden's criminal justice record makes Harris looks like Thurgood Marshall. You hear it. Biden authored and successfully passed $30 billion in 1994 for the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act. I don't think y'all know what the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act was. Y'all need to go back and do y'all research on that, because that's why a lot of your uncles and your cousins is locked up now and doing 20, 30, 40 to life and stuff. Besides putting 100,000 additionally police officers in the street, the crime bill distributed funding for new prison construction, encourage prosecutors to charge children as adults. We seen that. And even added the death penalty for 28 new areas, including drug-related offenses. You hear that? So 28 new death penalty areas. Basically, they added 28 ways for you to get put to death. Then, as far as the the 3-strike law and drugs was part of that. The 3-strike law and drugs was actually part of the death penalty. If on a higher scale, if you reach that limit they hit. Pushing for further criminalization. Then Senator Biden argued that George H.W. Bush crime plan did not go far enough because it did not include enough police officers to catch the violent thugs, not basically black people, not enough prosecutors to convict them, blacks and Hispanics, I should say, not enough judges to sentence them, and not enough prison cells to put them away for a long time. Do you hear this stuff, y'all? This is crazy. An older black generation fought through Jim Crow only for Biden to help make sure that the children and grandchildren live through a new Jim Crow, which is basically mass incarceration. So, this is who y'all voted for. This is the stuff I'm talking about when I say Babylon is a delusion. It's a bunch of confusion going on. And I don't think people gonna see it till Christ come back, till the Most High send Christ and the angels back. Now, this man right here,
Friars is always so delicious.
this man right here, this is an ex-Democrat. You have an ex-Democrat that's strong in politics, went to black colleges and everything. And this is what he has to say about the Democrats and the Republicans. And this guy ended up switching over and voting for Donald Trump because he's seen the bullshit in the eyes of the Democrats. He see the bullshit.
I can tell that they use your milk material. Great job.
Salakia for this ad.
You're welcome.
had a
Breyer's
video
Natural
already.
Vanilla
I'll
is
have
made
to
with
go back
100%
and
grade A
look.
milk and cream and only sustainably farmed vanilla. Better starts with Breyer's.
The Democratic Party does not want black people to leave their mental plantation. We've been forced to be there for decades and generations. But I have news for Joe Biden. We are free. We are free people with free minds. And I'm part of a large and growing segment of the black community who are independent thinkers, and we believe that Donald Trump is the president that America needs to lead us forward. This is no time for sleeping in the basement. Joe Biden has had 47 years to produce results. But he's been all talk and no action, just like so many of the Democrats who've been making promises to the black voters for decades. We've been their captive audience. When President Trump sought to earn the black vote, the Democratic Party leaders went crazy. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer literally started wearing kente cloths around the U.S. Capitol, as if pandering were enough to keep us satisfied. Let me tell you why I'm supporting our president. I grew up in the South, in Laurel Hill, North Carolina, Scotland County, the Green Pond community to be exact. My parents, Robin and Rufus Jones, built with their own hands a 4-room cinder block home with no indoor plumbing. They had very limited education, but they instilled in us a strong work ethic that drove me from those tobacco fields of North Carolina to those hallowed halls of the Georgia General Assembly. My parents taught me if I believed in God, worked hard, and treated every person fairly, there was no limit to what we could achieve. I attended North Carolina Central University, an historical black college. For generations, HBCUs have been the incubators that develop black scholars in math and science and religion, engineering, and politics. They have been important springboards for the black success. But Democrats haven't treated them that way. When President Trump took office, he changed everything. He delivered historic funding to HBCUs, and he guaranteed it for 10 years, something that's never happened in the history of this country. That gave our HBCUs stability, the chance to grow, and produce the next generation of black leaders. That's right, Donald Trump did that. He's also supported school choice to ensure that no child, no matter their race or zip code, is left behind. Every child should have access to a quality education. But education is just the beginning. The president also built the most inclusive economy ever, with record low unemployment for African Americans and record high participation in the workforce. He put opportunity zones in the Trump tax bill that would drive investment into our communities for decades to come. He put the interests of American workers, and especially black workers, first. That's right, Donald Trump did that. He delivered historic criminal justice reform. He ended once and for all the policy of incarceration of black people, which has decimated our communities, caused by no other than Joe Biden. Democrats wouldn't do it, Obama didn't want to do it, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris definitely wouldn't do it. But Donald Trump did it. He's also working every day to make our communities safer. As a former executive of DeKalb County, Georgia, I directed one of the largest public safety departments in the Southeast. I've seen tragic shootings on both sides. Officers killing citizens and citizens killing officers in the line of duty. Police officers are our fellow citizens. They live in our country. They have families too. They live in our communities. Unfortunately, Democrats have turned their backs on our brave police officers. They call it defunding, and it's a danger to our cities, our neighborhoods, and our children. Isn't it ironic that Democrat politicians have personal security to protect them? So why don't they forego their security and replace them with social workers, especially since that's what they want for you and me? Our police need more funding, not less, for frequent psychological examinations, for non-lethal remote restraint technology, and for more de-escalation and use of force training. These are the common sense solutions that President Trump supports. True, sincere police reform. That's right, Donald Trump did that too. Education, jobs, safety, security, on issue after issue. And in just a single term, he destroyed these negative forces that have victimized the black community for decades. He gave us the opportunity to rise. Now, you know, when I made the public announcement of my support for President Trump, all hell broke loose. I was threatened, called an embarrassment, and asked to resign by my own party. Unfortunately, that's consistent with the Democratic Party and how they view independent thinking black men and women. But I'm here to tell you that black voices are becoming more woke and louder than ever. The Democratic Party has become infected with a pandemic of intolerance, bigotry, socialism, anti-law enforcement bias, and a dangerous tolerance for people who attack others, destroy their property, and terrorize our own communities. That's what this election is all about. And that's why right now, more than ever before, America needs Donald Trump in the Oval Office for another 4 years. God bless you, and vote Donald J. Trump.
What you have here is Donald Trump just got his ass kicked, so they got Biden in there now. And it's all in the power, spirit of power, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, for the Most High to put Biden in there so we can see the true devil Democrats at work. It's all in the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. They about to just get exposed from all the evil works. And this guy right here, you have a well-democratic politician, free-thinking black man who's seen the BS, man. And he decided to resign from the Democratic Party. This is the problem. It's you either for us or you're against us. That's how the Democrats is. Like, once you start realizing they BS, they gonna drop you like a bad habit, man. So, for all you delusional people that voted for Biden, including my family members, y'all finna see how y'all made a mistake from voting for the wrong person. If you were to vote, when the Bible say don't vote for nobody that isn't of your people in Deuteronomy 17:15. Paraphrasing. So I would love for somebody to go live with me and challenge me on why I should have voted for Biden and why they shouldn't have voted for Trump if they did vote, if they are voters. So I would love for someone to challenge this. I doubt that they would try to challenge it. All they can just keep saying is Trump is a racist, Trump is a racist. So what does that make Biden for the mass incarceration of black folks? I'm gonna let y'all deal with that. I'm gonna get on out of here. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, and I'm gonna say Kwam Yasharala, Shalom Israel. Peace, blessings.